Tonight, they are coming. They come at night every year when the carnival gets closer. They come riding in a bright, shining ball, and many of them come down to the barn. In The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, every first night at 2:30 a.m., Romani Ranch is invaded by strange, ghost-like aliens who attempt to abduct cattle and the ranch's namesake, Romani herself. Many players chalk up the invasion of these unwelcome visitors as just another bizarre occurrence in an already bizarre game. But what most players don't know is that these aliens, referred to only as they or them, were actually inspired by a supposed real-life event in which a group of curious townsfolk in West Virginia stumbled upon a similar entity, aptly dubbed the Flatwoods Monster. In this video, I will attempt to cover in depth every spooky similarity between the Flatwoods Monster incident and they at Romani Ranch. So, grab yourself a cup of hot chocolate, sit back, and prepare to be thoroughly unsettled. It was during the cool evening hours of September 12, 1952, in the town of Flatwoods, West Virginia. Two young brothers, Edward and Fred May, and their older friend, Eugene Lemon, who was a member of the National Guard, were playing football on their school playground amongst a group of other boys when they notice a red object streaking across the sky, roughly 200 feet above them. They watch as it stops in mid-air and slowly descends upon the nearby farm of Bailey Fisher. The three friends decide to investigate, but not before returning to the Mays home to grab a flashlight, as it was getting dark. Kathleen May, the two boys' mother, after hearing how excited they were, decided to go with them, along with two other young boys from their neighborhood, Neil Nunley and Ronald Shaver. Eugene Lemon's dog also comes along. They arrive at Fisher's farm after coming down a pathway that had been blocked by a locked gate. Lemon's dog runs ahead of the group, and in a mere matter of minutes comes running back down the pathway with its tail tucked between its legs. The group eventually comes upon the site of a landed, pear-shaped craft that pulsated at regular intervals between red and orange. A mysterious mist covered the ground around the craft, and a stifling smell of sulfur, or what was later described as a sickening burnt metallic odor, was in the air. Lemon, who was leading the group, noticed what he thought were large animal eyes, like an opossum's, in the tree branches to their left. He shone his flashlight in the direction of the eyes to unveil the unsightly creature that would later become the Flatwoods Monster. The creature appeared to be more mechanical than biological, and it was estimated to be anywhere from 10 to 15 feet in height. Its torso was covered by a cloth-like pleated skirt. Its head was helmeted and shaped like an ace of spades. Its eyes were like portholes, protruding slightly from the head and emitting a bright beam of greenish-orange light. It had no nose or mouth. Descriptions of the arms varied among the group, but most agreed that it had stubby arms at the shoulders that ended in long, clawed fingers. At first, the creature appeared to be scanning the area from the hilltop with its beaming eyes, but it quickly turned to face Lemon and began to float toward the group, causing Lemon to fall backwards and the group to flee quickly. Lemon dropped his flashlight in the mist as he fell, and leaning down to pick it up, his face went directly into the mist that covered the ground. The group was able to retreat from the landing site as the creature returned to it. The group fled back to the May house, and the entire group became nauseous and experienced convulsions after their encounter with the creature, and having been exposed to the strange sulfuric mist. Lemon in particular had passed out, and a doctor was called who woke him with smelling salt. His nose and throat were noted to be so swollen that it was as if he had been exposed to mustard gas. With the story now fresh in mind, it's clear to see that this case shares many direct parallels to them in Majora's Mask. Let's examine those parallels in depth. In general, both events take place on farms whose passage had been blocked. Both events contain the emergence of creatures that float around ominously and threateningly. Many of the finer details align as well. Take, for instance, the appearance of the craft, a reddish-orange pulsating ball of light. This bright, shining ball is seen descending on Romani Ranch, which they come riding in. It can also be seen taking off when they have been defeated, or, if you fail the mission, stealing the cows from the barn and abducting Romani. Now, about the appearance of the creatures. Their general shape is very close to how the Flatwoods monster was described. Their heads are indeed shaped like the ace of spades, and their torsos are clothed in what looks to be the pleated skirt described by Kathleen May. They indeed have long, clawed fingers, and their eyes are exactly how the Flatwoods monsters were described, as beaming greenish-orange light from within. They are also quite tall in comparison to Link, matching the 10 to 15 foot height estimate given by the witnesses. There's even a dog present to witness the creatures, just like in the Flatwoods encounter. Most eerily, however, when Romani is abducted by them and is returned on the second day, she appears despondent. Her speech is slow and confused, and she shakes her head in her hands as if she's spasming involuntarily. Her behavior is eerily similar to the nausea and convulsions experienced by the Flatwoods witnesses. As A. Lee Stewart Jr., one of the men who investigated the Flatwoods monster case in 1952 states, "I have never seen people scared as badly as those that reported seeing this thing. I said to one man, I would have given $100 to have seen that thing. He replied, I would have given $1,000 if you had seen it in my place." I wonder if Romani felt the same way. While nobody from Nintendo has named the Flatwoods monster as the inspiration for them, it's clear that the creative team knew the case quite well and modeled much of this segment after the encounter. Eiji Aonuma, when asked about the inclusion of these aliens, only mentioned that they were included because he thought they'd be scary and that UFOs were a hot topic in Japan at the time. And judging by Breath of the Wild's design team, UFOs and aliens almost made a comeback in Zelda. Concept art for the game shows one designer's idea of having a large flying saucer that comes from space and abducts cattle, much like what we saw in Majora's Mask. Who knows? Seeing as Tears of the Kingdom was born from the DLC ideas for Breath of the Wild, perhaps they will make a return. Just hope that you don't see two shining eyes peering into your bedroom window tonight. Thank you all so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more, my Hylians.